Mohamed Kudus, valued around £50 million, wanted by two major big clubs, Chelsea, Liverpool, and also a small club tucked in there who's also interested in him, Spurs. Is he worth it? In this video, I'll tell you if he's worth it or if he's absolutely overpriced. Could you like, comment, share, subscribe, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. So let's start off with the type of position he plays in. Mohamed Kudus, he's essentially an inverted right winger. He's also comfortable at playing in the number 10 role. And that's very rare to see in footballers these days. There's barely any number 10s. I'm not saying he's an out and out number 10, but he can play there and he can play there pretty good. And he's a great ball carrier. He creates the chances for him to dribble with the ball. He moves a lot dynamically. He goes from central to wide, and also a lot of the time he comes deep to get the ball and initiate those attacks. Most ball carriers, elite dribblers, they don't do that. They wait for the ball to come near the attack, then they start off. Kudus actually tries to start the attack, which is great for a lot of counter-attacking teams or even great for a lot of possession-based teams. He can start making something. In the 23-24 season, he completed 136 dribbles. That's the most in Europe. But you've got to remember, at this time he was also playing Conference League football, so his stats could be boosted by that. But still, even then, for West Ham team, who aren't even in like the top 4, that's still pretty impressive. But this season, the season after the 23-24 season, he has dropped off. But I don't really blame him too much. They've had a change of manager. They've pretty much been in a relegation fight, or at least in the bottom half. And definitely a relegation. If any of the promoted teams were actually any good, they would have had a good chance to be in a relegation battle. So I don't blame him too much for dropping off. He also averages 1.1 key passes per 90 in the Premier League. That's like the 67th percentile in the Premier League. That's pretty high for an underperforming team. A team who finished, I think, 15th or 16th. A pretty poor team. Now let's talk about his stats. His season-by-season stats. In the 23-24 season, he played about 33 games. He got 8 goals, 6 assists. That's close to a goal contribution every other game. It's just below. And for an inverted right midfielder, it's okay, but he definitely could improve there. I think for 50-60 million, he should be getting maybe 5 more goal contributions or more. And I feel like he would be a great purchase. But right now, I feel like it's an okay deal. It's a great deal for both parties. But he needs to definitely improve on his goal scoring. And his creative abilities are pretty good, but just his goal scoring. But this season, the 24-25 season, he's played about the same amount of games, 32-33 games. He's got 8 goal contributions. And that's pretty underwhelming. A big drop-off from the season before. But you can't really blame him too much. The whole team declined from the 23-24 season, where they won the Conference League, and I think they were like mid-table, compared to this season, where they were in the Europa League, to be fair, so it's a bit more harder, but they were near the relegation spots. And it was really like hard for him to have any sort of decent season, and you're not expecting him to be like score like 20 goals because of the team is playing in. The thing is, stats, they aren't the be all end all. They won't really define the player. They kind of do, but sometimes you just have to look at them play. Just by stats alone, you can't really decide how good he is. You need to watch him play. And the reason I'm saying this is because of how he plays. And I'll tell you how he plays. Despite not being the strongest, he's got a 60.5% tackle success rate and about 370 ball recoveries in the space of 2 seasons. That's pretty impressive for a guy who's not primarily a defensive-minded player. He's an attacking-minded player. So this tells you that in a, let's say, gegenpress team, he's more likely to win the ball and start the attacks. And for an attacking-minded player, that can really help you push up and get a goal quite easily. Now let's talk about his European performances. In the Europa League, he's played about 16 games. He's got 6 goals and 4 assists. That's pretty impressive for a West Ham team. that being underperforming this whole season. So in Europe, he's been pretty good. Obviously, he could improve it, but you don't expect him to improve it that much. Getting goal contribution every game is truly elite, and it probably costs more than 50 million. So I feel for a player who's getting above a goal contribution every other game, he's pretty good in Europe. But that was the Europa League, and the teams that he's been linked to are in the Champions League, and they got to be aware of that. Now, the teams that have been linked to and who would suit, they would be either Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham. Let's start off with Tottenham. The pros of Tottenham is in the Champions League, he'd probably be a starter for them. He'd probably be playing week in, week out. He'd probably be one of their best players. But the cons with Tottenham is it's Tottenham, and it's a new manager. With Tottenham, Thomas Frank might not know what system he wants to play, and he's not entirely sure what Kudus might do. He might say that, and that's a drawback. And also, what if they have an off season and they get knocked out of the Champions League and they don't qualify for the Champions League, and Kudus is stuck kind of in a worse position than he is right now, because West Ham right now not in a European competition. That would have been Tottenham if they got knocked out, and they would probably be close to mid-table because of the quality of the teams that are currently in the top 6 from 7. Tottenham right now aren't good enough to compete there. Then we go Liverpool. Liverpool, the pros are it's a great team. He's probably has a great chance of winning stuff, and he probably suit the system. But the main thing is, the con is he'd probably be a substitute. I don't see him starting in the Liverpool 11. He'd probably be a backup to Salah, maybe even Wirtz. But I feel like he might get the Chiesa treatment, where he only made like one appearance, I think, in the Premier League, and Kudus has a good chance of that happening. But saying that, there is a lot of competition nowadays, and he could feature, but he'd probably feature in like the B tier competitions. Despite that, I feel like it'd be a decent move, but I feel like he could do better. He needs guaranteed playing time. That leaves Chelsea, the biggest club in the world. Now with Chelsea, he's not guaranteed to be a starter, but with Chelsea, there's so much options, so much rotations. He can definitely get into the team. At least for a bit. He'll have a few round of games that he'll have to try and prove himself. And that's the thing, he'll have to prove himself in the Chelsea team. Whereas in Tottenham, he wouldn't have. Saying that, he really does suit Chelsea's style of play. Maresca loves those inverted players, and Kudus will be great for that. Once he gets the ball quite deep, which I feel Maresca rates very highly, he'll drop deep to get the ball, and he'll start those possession-based counter-attacks, you could say. And his dribbling and his one-on-one abilities is what Maresca really, really needs in the system, and I feel Kudus will match that really, really good. But maybe I'm a bit biased as being a Chelsea fan, but I feel like that would be probably the best option. Now, is he worth 50 million euros or pounds? I feel yes, he is. Because although his goal contributions are underwhelming, I was underwhelming, but they made us, I guess. They're what everyone else probably would have. I feel like he should have better goal contributions. But in the world we live in and how transfer fees are going for nowadays, I feel that's a pretty good deal for a player who has the potential to be in the top 20 Premier League attackers currently in this season. But the only thing that's really lacking is his output, his goal contribution. This next move is key. It's ideal for Kudus to make the right move. And it's all up to him, I guess. But one other thing you got to remember is Kudus. He's going to be turned 25 in August. And he's not super young, but he's slowly going to turn into his prime. And he doesn't want his prime to be remembered as not winning trophies, being on the bench. He wants his prime to be remembered as guaranteed playing time, winning trophies, scoring goals. What do you think? Is he worth 50 million? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and thank you for watching.